So I just got done reading chapter 1146. That shit was crazy. I think every chapter like is gonna be crazy. I hear everybody say every new chapter that comes out is the best chapter in One Piece history. It's like, okay, that's gonna keep happening, right? So I guess One Piece has been on the streak. That's all that means. But anyway, so we start the chapter off, obviously, where the last one left off. Rocks getting Dome Reverse and some of the strongest people in history witnessing this feat, okay? Yeah, I know people are still gonna like question the whole, how come none of them have ever mentioned or showed any signs of knowing this information since we've been seeing the story? That's what a lot of people have been saying and kind of bringing back into question. But if you keep in mind that they all knew a general truth or general secrets about the world government, we didn't know what secrets and truth they knew. They knew something. Kaido was building an army. Big Mom was trying to have the power basically of every race as her family. Roger and Garp, they kind of like, Roger gave himself up. He already knew about the world. He found the One Piece. Garp, we already know how dissatisfied he is with the world government already. So if you just think about those surface level things, it kind of makes sense. We don't need it to be any deeper. It would be nice if we knew a little bit more. If we heard Garp talk to Roger about this shit one day, like after all of this, like maybe when he had Ace and all that, But anyway, this statement that Zebek made is crazy. Now I know a lot of people instantly are gonna probably think that Davy Jones is like he was Joy Boy or something, and that means that he was the king of the kingdom of science and all that, and the ancient kingdom and whatnot. I don't know what this can mean, honestly. I'll speculate and theorize on this later, but I was not expecting him to say this. And this made Emu mad. So if this is making Emu mad, this is obviously true to some extent, like, right? It has a lot of truth to it. The same way how they're trying to flip around the whole Joy Boy thing, like, the D clan are devils and they're fighting God, I'm God. That's not the truth. He's flipping all that around. So we know if he's trying to flip the whole fact that Davy Jones was king around, we know the opposite had to be true. And then when he said this right here, the grievance between Mu and Davy has nothing to do with you, nothing to do with thee. I feel like he's hinting at something bigger here that we're obviously going to get the answer to, okay? The whole idea that the people who oppose God and this cycle has been going on. There's always been somebody in the shadow of Nika or the shadow of Davy, the shadow of Joy Boy, these sort of people or this clan, this will that's being passed down. There's always somebody who's going to pop up to oppose the world, to oppose Emu. That's what he's talking about, but we still don't have the bigger picture. Him talking about Davy specifically and him, having a grievance between Davy, that's not exactly a surprise, but this is kind of a new point that he's harping on. Before it was just, Emu, no, it wasn't Emu, my bad. He was just saying Joy Boy, oh, Joy Boy, Joy Boy. Nika, I hate him. I'm scared of Nika, right? Now he's mentioning Davy. The big question is going to be what place Davy has in his history. Was he Joy Boy's friend? Was he another rival? Was there three people who contested against each other? Was Joy Boy and Davy, were they enemies too? We don't know that. I feel like Davy could have been on Joy Boy's crew. If Joy Boy was the first pirate, I feel like Davy Jones obviously was a pirate too, and he would have to be a pirate after Joy Boy. Maybe he was his best friend. He became an opposing pirate, like how Ace didn't want to join Luffy's crew, right? If you think about it like that, Ace didn't want to join Luffy's crew. Luffy didn't want to join Ace's crew. Same thing with Sabo. They had the idea of making their own crews and being their own pirates and their own person, right? So I feel like that kind of reflects that right there. Like Moo, not Moo, Davy and Joy Boy. If Joy Boy was the first pirate and Davy was a pirate also, he also, it's probably a strong possibility that he was not on his crew. He could have been, you know, his friend or somebody who just like got inspired by Joy Boy also, right? But anyway, the promise. I think the promise is directly connected to the whole Fishman Island promise too. I think it's kind of the same shit. I think these clans in the past and these people, they had an idea, they had a promise to, you know, take down Emu, to stop Emu. Maybe it's to save Emu, right? Maybe their promise is to save Emu. But it's, you know, it's been twisted over time, and now it's become the idea to stop Emu, to stop him and save the world, basically, right? Hey, maybe some twist like that. Maybe Emu didn't want to become this, and Davy Jones and Joy Boy promised to save him one day and free him from this darkness or some shit. I don't know. I'm going too far off the deep end. Let me stop. Anyway, Emu mentions how he found the giants and their excellent soldiers to serve him, right? Now, this kind of made me think of the fact that he probably has a lot of giants frozen in ice. And then, you know, right now in the Navy, there are a lot of giants working for them. Well, not a lot, but there are a couple of giants in the Navy already, right? But I feel like Oda, over time, obviously he never thought of Emu and his Herald conflict. I mean, I can't say that for sure, right? Hold on, let me rewind that. I don't know how long Oda has had the idea of Herald and Emu and Herald trying to deal with the world government in the past and making deals with them. I don't know how long he's had that idea in his head, but he might have to explain how come after Herald died, this whole time, Emu hasn't tried to make a move on the island of giants until now. Like, why has he waited this entire time? Coincidentally, when Luffy and his crew get to the island, why has he waited this whole time? That's gonna have to be a question or some sort of thing he puts into perspective. Maybe Emu didn't care anymore, right? It could be something as simple as that, but he has to give us some sort of a reason to make that make a little bit more sense. Because with the overwhelming power that he has, and, you know, albeit we don't expect Emu himself to leave the throne room, right? A lot of people think that he's bound and stuck in that room. But whichever it is, he doesn't leave. So he wouldn't even have to leave his house to make all of Elbaf get subjugated, right? He's not doing it now. He sent the God's Knights. So how come this whole time he hasn't just done that before? That's kind of a big question, okay? It's a little weird, but it's not like breaking the story or anything. It's just it's kind of a big question though. Like, why does he care all of a sudden, right? As soon as Luffy gets Nika, and then, you know, he doesn't even know that he doesn't know that Luffy came here. It was a coincidence. So yeah, it's kind of weird. But he sends Herald out to kill his family. As we know, that's gonna happen. But before he does that, he encounters his crew and Roger and the rest of them. He goes straight through Whitebeard, Kaido. Pretty easy. Big Mom. Well, I guess he went through Big Mom and Kaido easier than Whitebeard, right? Whitebeard and him actually had a giant hockey clash, and they broke one half of the island, the God Valley Island, okay? And this leads directly into another theory, because I know before God Valley really started, a lot of people have had a lot of theories about God Valley still being around, and it didn't really get destroyed like Leloucia or any of the other places like this. You know, God Valley is not a hole. It's not a hole in the middle of the ocean, okay? It's an island that still exists. That was a theory. A lot of people think that God Valley is Thriller Bark, okay? Because a lot of people who died and who are at God Valley are also at Thriller Bark. And I also seen like a theory, somebody compared one of the buildings to a building that was in Thriller Bark, but that's kind of a stretch. We don't know. It looks similar, but you can't really say that for sure, right? But my biggest question was like, okay, if God Valley is destroyed and it looks different today, it would have to get destroyed during the events of God Valley, the God Valley incident. And we're seeing it right now. It's getting destroyed. So I'm expecting the second pillar to get destroyed on the right side when Roger and Garp fight rocks. That's when I'm expecting that shit to happen. And if that happens, that might give more credence. It might, might make the theory, the idea that God Valley is still around. It's gonna make it make more sense. It might not even be Thriller Bark. It could be somewhere else. It could look like we have to see how it looks when both of the mountains fall. That'll probably determine whether or not it's Thriller Bark or wherever. Punk Hazard, who knows, right? Whatever. But anyway, everybody's trying to get off the island. Okay, as soon as that pillar fell, it's like panic set in way more. A lot of more panic started going around. People can't even escape. The rocks, they're crushing people. Okay, the Marines, they had to escort the Celestial Dragons off of the island. Okay, because they worked for them. I don't know where the God's Knights are at. They're still doing the hunt, I guess. I don't know. But the Marines are escorting the Celestial Dragons. Roger's crew has all the treasure they need. They got Shaggy, they got treasure chests, they got gold. They're leaving. But I noticed something right here in his chest with some Z's over it. Who could that be? I think that's Baby Shanks. Baby Shanks is getting off the island right now. And that kind of lets you know that the island really is doomed, okay? If Shanks is already getting off the island, and what I thought next, well, what happens next is what I thought would happen, okay? I think Dragon is in the same place, the same vicinity as Kuma. I think he is. I could be wrong, but I think he's in the same area. Kuma might have already poofed him off the island, okay? Maybe he sees him later. Because I got two things about Kuma, so let me just go into what he does here, and then I'll explain it. Because we see him here with Ivankov and Jenny, right? And then he sees somebody that needs to be saved, and he runs off to go save him. But before he does that, we see a panel of Captain John, who I think is super fucking useless, okay? Now, I said it earlier, but I think Captain John, as soon as I saw him having Captain Useless Mid, okay? I'm not even gonna call him Captain Useless Kid. Fuck that name. I like the other name better because he really is useless in mid. He's weak. He's not doing anything with that magnet fruit, right? As soon as I saw Captain John with the same fruit, I thought, okay, hey, maybe he's different. Maybe he's gonna do something with it. I don't know. What happens? He gets his ass whooped. He gets a fucking booger flicked at him, and he's about to die, okay, from a booger. And seeing him get hit by the booger also made me think, yo, this could be Thriller Bark. This could be Thriller Bark. If he died right here, the Gecko Moria would find his body on Thriller Bark. Hey, I don't know, I'm just saying. But anyway, Shiki, he's flying off. Now, I wondered, like, did Oda retcon or change the way his devil fruit works? Because he's flying low to the ground, right? You would think if you had a devil fruit to fly, you would just be higher in the sky, like just get the fuck out of there. But he's flying low to the ground. I don't know if that's like, if it's different now, I don't know. But the thing I was saying about Kuma, okay? So we see Xebec catch up to his family. She notices he's transformed into a demon, and she starts to talk to Teach. She says, you have to survive no matter what. You have to keep the Davy blood alive. They're trying to jump into the water. The Marines, okay, they're really fucking evil. They got the cold-hearted plans planned out all the way. Of course, the Marines are waiting on the edge of the island, surrounding it like it's a buster call, waiting for any signs of somebody to escape so they can shoot them with cannonballs. And if the cannonballs didn't work, if they jumped inside of the water somehow, I'm sure the Marines would have leaned over the edge of the ship, shooting rifles into the water, throwing bombs into the water. They would have backed the boats up and shot cannonballs into the water. Like, you're not getting off the island. If the God's Knights didn't kill you, you're done. That's why somebody like Kuma had to exist. If Kuma didn't exist on this island, right? No, not the devil fruit. Not the devil fruit. Think about it. Fuck the devil fruit. It's both of them. Because if somebody else got that devil fruit, they would have saved probably like 2 motherfuckers and then flew off and went home. And then the God Valley would have had a lot more bodies piled up on the soil. Okay? Shanks would have been dead. Well, not Shanks, my bad. Blackbeard would have been dead. Like, a lot of people would have been dead. Dragon probably would have died. I don't know what's going to happen to him, okay? So Kuma is the savior. He's like little baby Jesus, okay? He's saving everybody. He poofs away Eris and Teach. Now, there's 2 things about this. One, he didn't ask them, they didn't get the question asked to them, like, where do you want to go? So they didn't get that question asked about them. They didn't get sent to where they want to go. Who knows where they went? I mean, maybe it naturally sent them to Lelucia. Maybe it naturally sends you where you would like to go without Kuma even knowing that, right? Who knows? But he sent them away. They might be in Lelucia. They could be anywhere else. Kuma. Now, what I was saying earlier, Kuma, I don't know if there's a couple possible scenarios here, right? Before he came here, he could have sent away Ivankov and Jenny, okay? If he did not send Ivankov and Jenny away, then him poofing himself away here would mean that he's returning back to Ivankov and Jenny. That means they're still on the island, and he poofed himself away back to them. Or route B would be, before he came here, he poofed Ivankov and Jenny away, maybe even Dragon, and then he poofed himself away to the same place he sent all of them. For all we know, Eris and Teach could be with, the future Revolutionary Army right now for a little while. They could be. We don't know. Who knows? But that's what I was trying to say about Kuma. Like, under these circumstances, I know he poofed himself away, but where did he go? If he didn't leave the island, it's like, he wouldn't leave Jenny and Ivankov, on the island. So he's either still here or they're all gone already. Okay? So, next we got, Imu thinking that Rox successfully killed his family. Okay, I gotta hurry this video up. My allergies are killing me. So he saw the explosion go off. He has no idea of the concept of a devil fruit that's making people disappear being on the island. You might question, okay, if his eyesight is good enough to see them running across the island from this far away, how come he didn't see a little fat boy dive in, touch them with his hands, and then they disappear? Well, maybe Rox's body was blocking that sight, right? He's staring at them from behind. You might also ask, okay, then, if Rox's body was blocking them, can't Imu see through Rox's eyes? Well, apparently not. He didn't take his body over. He just took his mind over, right? So apparently he can't see through Rox's eyes. He would have took his body over and did it himself, but he wanted Rox to do it. So Rox is the one doing it. So he can't see through Rox's eyes. He couldn't see from behind Rox. All he saw was Rox go to the edge of the island, which there is literally no escape from, because you would have to jump into the water, but you'd get hit by cannonballs before then, right? So he knew that he met them at the edge of the island. An explosion went off, and then they're not even there anymore. That's all he saw. He thinks they're dead, okay? Makes sense. Makes sense. So we're getting to the end, the climax, the biggest part. Garp talking crazy to the Admiral, or whoever this is. He said, hurry up, Vice Admiral Garp. He said, no, you hurry up. Roger, he said, no, I'm cool. Let me know when everybody's on the ship. I'm out here doing something, okay? What do they got to do? Rox is chopping through his whole crew, killing everybody on the island. We got the two big dogs, the two biggest dogs at God Valley, getting ready to bark. They about to yell at this dude. They got Rox's attention. They thought it was a showdown, like a regular old fight. But then they start to hear that voice, the voice of all things, but it's not a thing. It's Sebek talking to them directly, asking, begging. He's crying, he's pleading. He said, "Can y'all kill me? Please, just kill me." So he wants them to kill him, okay? As like I didn't really expect this, but like I did know that they were gonna end up fighting. Because I see a couple spoilers sometimes. So that was a prediction of mine. I know everybody, right? They ended up being right. It was a prediction of mine and everybody that Eris and Teach would live. That ended up being right. I also saw that before the chapter. So I only saw two spoilers. Eris lived, Teach lived, and this would happen. I didn't know he begged for his life though. I like that. He used the voice of all things. I think we seen Luffy do that in Wano when he was about to die. Didn't he speak? He spoke to Momonosuke and Law and his crew to let them know he was alive. So, yeah, you can do that apparently. I don't know what it is. Like, do you have to be a D member? I know you have to be like a D member or just somebody. What is it like? You need to be special to hear the voice of all things. I know that. But what do you need to project your voice to other people? Like, what is that? How do you get that ability? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But this is the fight we've all been waiting for, right? And I knew, obviously we all knew, because it just wasn't lining up to be the way we thought it always was going to be with what the story that we previously heard about God Valley with Roger and Garp teaming up to protect celestial dragons. Okay, we knew it wasn't going to be that for two reasons. One, Roger protecting celestial dragons and slaves never made sense. We always thought, okay, it's going to have to be some sort of circumstances, right? He didn't want to do it, but they had to. We needed to know how or why that was the case. Now we know that's not even the case at all, right? It was still a possibility that could have been the case. It could have been circumstances or happenstance, like he ended up having to protect or just fight with Garp. And indirectly, that's, him protecting celestial dragons to fight a bigger threat against the whole entire Rox crew, right? Because it was never just supposed to be him fighting, 1v2. It was the whole crew versus these two. Now, none of that is even the case. There's no protecting celestial dragons. That whole story it's a psyop. It's a Navy psyop. We know that for a fact. But the only parts that kind of align, the one thing that's kind of true that they can take and spin out and make a new truth out of is the fact that Garp and Roger teamed up at God Valley to fight the biggest threat there, indirectly saving all of the people that were going to die at God Valley. I mean, the rest of the people who are going to die, because a lot of people are already dead. So this team up is going to save a lot of people indirectly, and it is quite literally still going to protect the celestial dragons. If he stops this dude, hold on, wait. I can't say that for a fact, right? Imu wanted Rox to kill everybody on the island. Was he gonna have him kill celestial dragons too, and the rest of the Marines and Navy? Because he's already like swinging at Garp. He already killed a couple Navy people before, so was he gonna have Rox kill everybody, like even the celestial dragons and the Marines? I don't know. That's a big question. He said kill everybody, so hey, we're gonna have to find out. Snuff out every light of life left on the island, yeah. That might have been it. Hey, listen, I think this is it for me. If I think anything else to add into the video, I'll put it in the comment. I think my speculation is done here. I think Eris and Teach got sent to Leloucia, okay? I think they got sent to Leloucia. I think Eris, like I've been questioning, I've been wondering, how is Blackbeard as a kid going to know anything about himself in the future? Unless he got put, unless Xebec leaves him on like a book, the Book of Davy, or unless he just like can inherit the knowledge because he's a special person. Like, you know, that's what the Buccaneers can do. They pass down memories or some shit, I don't know. Or dreams. But then now we see what it is. My third option was always, I think his mom is going to live with him. She's going to escape. And that's what happened. So she's going to tell him about everything that Xebec has ever told her about. That means everything about the Will of D, possibly. All about the Davy clan and, you know, the king of the rats, aka Emu. And he's going to get taught about who his father was and what crew he was on and what the members of his crew were. That's how he's gonna learn about Whitebeard, because I'm sure his wife knows. Oh, he's on a team with these people. You know, we got the Big Mom, we got Whitebeard. You know, all these legendary pirates and shit. Sure, she knows them. So yeah, that's how Teach is gonna know who he is. He's gonna understand what he is, because his mom is gonna tell him. Okay, she's gonna tell him what Xebec's goal was too, the 2 devil fruits, all of that, his plan, how he needs like 2 devil fruits and he needs a certain amount of like power to fight and face the threat that is the world. And the world is something to, you know, even face. So he's gonna learn all of that from his mom. And Dragon, I think, like I said, he's either off the island already, but I still think Kuma is gonna be the one to do that. Like, I can't see Dragon like leaving the island on his own after all of this. And then even if he does, like, how would he end up magically meeting Kuma, Ivankov, and Jenny again? Like, I don't see that happening, right? So yeah, I think he's gonna know Kuma from this day, and then, you know, they're gonna split apart, and then one day he's gonna come back like, yo, listen, I've been making this army, the Revolutionary Army. I remember what you did on that day at God Valley. Join my team. He's gonna ask him to join the team later on in the future. I don't know when that's gonna fit in his life, because we've seen Kuma's like whole life flashback. I don't remember when he joined Dragon, so I probably gotta look at that again. But yeah. Anyway, I'm just talking at this point. Let me end this video. And yeah, that's it.